Well, hello everybody. On one of my videos, I got a comment you ought to talk about your history of radio for what got you into radio. Well, I've been around radio ever since I was 5, 6 years old, a little kid. That's all I've ever done is radio. To start the story off, I'm going to tell you what happened. Back in 1965 or 1966, and my mom and dad got me a pair of walkie-talkies for Christmas, Channel 14, and Curtis, my cousin Curtis, he just lived right across the road from me. We lived back here in the mountains, and I still live back here in the mountains, and that's where I like it. His mom and dad got him and his brother a pair of walkie-talkies. So we all got to getting out in the yard and talking on Channel 14, and that's where the radio started back in the middle 60s. Right around the middle 60s. And then, Curtis never did really get into radio like I did. He fooled with it when he was 3 or 4 years old, but that's about it. And you could take the walkie-talkies and probably sew them further than you could talk on them. You get over 100 foot apart, you'd lose each other. That's how bad it was. But that's what introduced me to radio. And my parents went to a German's house. I can't remember his name. That's been back when I was 3 years old. We went to, Mom and Dad and me went to a German's house. And this German had this great big old monster shortwave desktop radio receiver, had big buttons and knobs all over it. And I was just walking, I was walking good. I started walking good when I was 2 years old. This was when I was 3. And that's when I went radio crazy. I seen that big radio and I got up and started turning knobs, and the German guy didn't like it too good. And my mom and dad apologized. They said he's generally a good kid, but when he sees a radio, he goes crazy. So I guess I'm radio crazy and radioactive and antenna friendly. So there you go. But one thing led to another, and back in the 70s, my dad got back into CB and got me back into CB back in the early 70s, when we had mobiles and base stations, had Stardusters, and I had a Moonraker 4, I had a Super Scanner, I had a Radio Shack ground plane. I started out with a Shakespeare Big Stick, and then I went to Radio Shack ground plane, and I went to a Starduster. I've had 3 or 4 different Stardusters over the years, back in the 70s and 80s, and then I had a Moonraker 4. And had a big old 30-foot long locust pole, and it's something looked like a light pole, and had the antenna mounted the side hitting a little old cheap TB rotary, which later on I had to use the Armstrong rotary. An Armstrong rotary is a pipe wrench and muscle power. That's what an Armstrong rotary is. And then I got into shortwave radio, I guess it was back in the 80s, I got into shortwave, and I just had an old AM, and I was just searching for something to listen to. I got tired of listening to the broadcast stations, which shortwave was great back in the 70s and 80s. And now it's not so hot, but not so good at all. But, I got tired of listening to the broadcast station, so I started turning around 3 megahertz, and I didn't even know what 3 megahertz was back then. And I hear these old hams, K4KYV, Don in Woodlawn, Tennessee. I'd listen to him, and I'd listen to the guys with the old boat anchors. And then first one thing and another, I guess it was 93, me and my cousin back in 93, Johnny, KE4BFK, he's a silent key. Curtis is gone, he's been dead for several years, probably a lot longer than Johnny. Johnny's been gone about 5-6 years. I can't remember when Curtis died, but Curtis never really got into radio. But me and Johnny, he was my cousin by marriage. We got into CB pretty heavy, 11 meter sideman, and we get in there and work skip, or they call it DX on ham. And we's talking about we need to get our ham ticket, so we started studying, and we went to Marshtown. This was back in February, I guess, or back in February or March of 93. And we went to Marshtown, and the club had broke up. So we had to retain the questions and answers to April. Maybe I'm telling you right, April. We had to retain that. No, I'm telling you wrong. It was March. It's February we was going to go to Marshtown. And we went to Greenville, Tennessee in March. And then it was May the 11th. This first week in March I passed the test. And I still got my original call, KE4BFG, and Johnny, he's a solid key, of course. He had KE4BFK, a big fat kilowatt. And I was really proud of Johnny. He got the 20 words a minute extra, and I couldn't do it. I could just barely do. I could do 5, and that was about it. So I got the Tech. I got the Tech Plus back in February of 94. Then I finally got the General back in June of 94. And then I got they dropped the code, and I got the X3 back in February of 2008. So, a lot of Februarys, but that's how I got into ham radio. I just thought I'd share that with you guys and everybody. I appreciate you watching the channel. And, like I said, I first got into 11 meters, and now I got tired of hearing all the cussing and the fussing. It went to Hades after Smokey and the Bandit come out. It just was a trash talking, and I went to sideband, got away from it, and I started getting on free band above channel 40 and below channel 1. And I was working around the world with that Moonraker 4, and I had a Phantom, a DNA Phantom, a 10-tuber, would do probably a kilowatt or more. And with that Moonraker 4, if I could hear them, I could work them. And I got cards from all over the world, and Johnny done the same thing. And we was talking about we need to get legal and get their ham ticket. So I'm more of a diehard HFer, which there's a local 2-meter repeater I get on and talk to the locals. That's about it. But the reason I got my ham ticket is to work DX, mainly. Because that's all I ever done on the free band. But I just wanted to say hello to everybody, and thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I hope everybody likes this video. So this is just spur of the moment. I just thought I'd tell you how I got started in the radio, or make a long story short. I'm going to say 73s from KE4BFG on Radioactive and Antenna Friendly. Everybody have a great day. I'm out of here.